so sad how they make you used to this.
Look at Richard.
It's so nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
No, we
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I dreamt of her. Honestly, I did. I dreamt of her, and I would say, honey, I had that dream again. I really want to adopt. And certain things kept happening over and over that we really felt like God had a hand in it. And so finally, he was like, okay. And I was like, yes. And she was a normal little girl. After that, it was just a few of the medical issues at first, and she started getting sick one day. I remember that day because she was going to school and she woke up and went to the bathroom and said she had to throw up. And so a little tiny red flag went up, but I didn't think much about it, to be honest with you. And the doctor said, I want you to go to the emergency room. But after I hung up, she ate and went to the bathroom, and so I thought, I'm not going to take her to the emergency room because the doctor's going to laugh at me. So I didn't take her, and she called me back and said, why didn't you take her? They were waiting for you. And I told her, I feel like I'm going crazy because I don't know what's wrong with her. She's vomiting, and then she acts totally fine, and then... Well, the night the doctor called me and said, why didn't you go? And I told her, well, she ate and she drank, and I thought that they would laugh me out of there. And so she goes, I want you to do me a favor. And she said, I want you to have her walk in a straight line with her arms out. And she was walking like a drunken sailor. I mean, she could do the walking, but she could not hold her balance doing it the way that the doctor requested. And I told her, and I think that was her first red flag. The office called me on Monday and wanted to get the MRI ordered, and I said, that's fine, but I want to bring her in because, again, I'm not thinking of cancer. I want to bring her in, and I want the doctor to see her. We were at our appointment. We were there for 2.5 hours. By the time we left, nobody else was in the office. They had to unlock the door for us, and as she's unlocking the door, she said, I suspect a brain tumor. It was like, I felt like our life changed right then.
By the way.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Nice. I thought it might be Superwoman because there's a new film about that that's just coming out. I look down your back just to make sure that wound looks okay. I have to lean you a bit more forward than that. So, oh, you got to dress that kid. How's the radiation going? Is it okay? Okay, you feeling okay? Not feeling sick or anything?
Mr. Daddy, Mr. being paged. She says, can you get Mr. Kim? That's it. Are you ready? Why don't we get your coat on? So we went home, changed her clothes, went up to the hospital, and they were doing scans, and they had to do without contrast to begin with, and Daisy did wonderfully without being put to sleep. But then they wanted to inject her with some medicine in her veins, and she started crying, and she was all upset, and the tech came over, and she said, it's okay, honey, and she put her arm around me, and she said, it's okay, honey. She goes, they'll just get it tomorrow, because we're going to admit her. And I knew that they found something. So she went down to surgery, and the surgery lasted 10 hours. But the doctor had told us that he had gotten all of it. And I remember the day that the biopsy results came in. The doctor just came in just as he normally would and sat down next to her bed, put his feet up on her bed. I remember that, and I remember loving him so much that he felt so comfortable that he could do that. And then he just bombshelled us with her tumor. Was actually a malignant tumor called medulloblastoma. We couldn't even say the word then.
Look at Mama real fast. That, and then
Hold
straight
on.
up.
Look at me, Daisy.
Baby.
You know that?
Okay. Yep. Good job. You want to turn around?
German Shepherd. Very good. Alright. Are you still Ileana Daisy Walsh? Okay. 16.9. Allergies.
So she started radiation at the hospital. The hospital would send an ambulance just right across the street with Daisy in it to receive her radiation, and then they'd bring her back. And then at that time as well, she would have to go up to Children's Hospital and start the chemo. And she continued with physical therapy from home. During Daisy's treatment, she had 3-month scans throughout the whole treatment, 3 months, up until 2 years. At the 2-year mark, we were no longer doing chemotherapy. So Daisy was 8 years old now. She had been cancer-free for 18 months. This was our first 6-month scan post-treatment. We have to wait 6 months, and we have to hope during that whole time that nothing shows up. And you know, all you have is hope. And yeah, we had big bucketfuls of hope. Something showed up, and I can't even tell you in words what that felt like for us, because we had to bring her in for another MRI, which would be a spine MRI. And at first I was like, why are they wanting a spine MRI? So we go in the next day and met with the doctors, and they said that they found some spots. And I should have known then, because the whole room was filled up with different doctors. But I didn't. After her MRI, they told us that she had lesions, multiple lesions in her brain that were too small to operate on, and the cancer had dropped into her spine. After Daisy's second surgery, we took her home. She began a oral chemo. She goes to school half days in the mornings. She comes home, eats lunch, and then she usually sleeps for the better part of the afternoon. So Daisy's current condition right now is good. We have to go by her last scan, which was good, and that they didn't see any disease in her brain or spine. We hope that that's the case for future scans.
Yeah, that's fun.
I received a phone call from a gal named Christy who told me a little bit about St. Baldrick's, but I still didn't understand it. They shake their heads for what? Is it to raise awareness for childhood cancer? And she said, absolutely. And I said, I'm in. We're in. 2 feet, we're in. We'll do whatever we can to help you. And so we decided to create our own team, Hope for Daisy. And so we've been doing it for 3 years now, and have raised a little over $26,000 since then. And we're just gonna go up. I love St. Baldrick's. I love the work that they do for kids. We have so much hope in them for our daughter, because they fund research grants, and some of Daisy's doctors have been recipients of those grants. And their doctors have told me we couldn't do the work that we do without those grants. They're that important. And for us, we have so much hope that our daughter lives